Welcome back to another episode of Front Row Cinema, a movie podcast for movie lovers by movie lovers. I am your host, Teacher Trimboli, and with me, as always, my co-host. I got a member of the round table in the house tonight, taking time out of his busy day. We got Mr. James O'Reilly.
I mean, what can I say? Between fighting Saxons and the Woads, it's just nice to be here. It's like a little bit of a breather.
For a breather. I can imagine, that table looked a little light when I was watching. You guys must be picking up a lot of slack these days.
Yeah, I mean, like you saw how it went in the movie. That's kind of just how it goes all the time. Like whenever we do anything, at least one or two of us are going down. So
Man, tough times, man. But I appreciate you taking the time to be here. Good to see that you're still walking around. And each week we take a look at my
we're happy.
1,000, my 1,000 movies I've seen in theaters, and we see how well it's aged, along with the hype surrounding the film, its box office analysis, and legacy in the film industry. So if you enjoy this kind of content, hit that sub button on YouTube, leave that 5-star review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. It's how you help the channel grow. Jim, what are we watching tonight?
We're watching King Arthur.
That's right, baby. The 2004 action adventure, directed by Antoine Fuqua, written by David Franzoni, and starring Clive Owen, Keira Knightley, and Ian Grufford. Now, I have the DVD cover here because, Jim, of course, come on. Like, you think I'm not going to own the DVD of King Arthur? Like, gotta have it.
It's
Must
classic.
own. And we got, once again, Jim, it's good to see. We got a lovely blurb in the back here from Roger Ebert.
From the
So
Ebert himself.
from the
Ooh.
from the Ebert himself. It's on there. And Jim, once again, this movie following in the footsteps of Van Helsing, one of the explosive DVD extras is playing the King Arthur video game for the Xbox demo.
Yeah, wow, wow. Who
And I,
knew that they even made a King Arthur video game for the
you know,
Xbox?
the early 2000s, man, what a wild ride it was.
Yeah, that's just another game. Man, I wish I could play it.
Is it like I can't imagine a single frame of that is good, right?
It's probably so horrendous. Yeah, there's no way it's good or fun or anything.
Yeah. Do you think like for today, like if they still did that, there'd be like a Sinners video game?
I mean, yeah, that's basically the same vibes, right?
That would be, man. I kind of want to live in that world, Jimbo. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know. I'm kind of glad we don't. I lived through it in the early 2000s. Those video games were rough.
Yeah, they were they were tough to handle. But we got our lovely log line here on the back, and it reads, "It is the valiant tale of Arthur and his bond of brotherhood with Lancelot and the loyalty of the Knights of the Round Table as they fight for freedom and those they love." Also starring Keira Knightley as Guinevere. Classic.
Nice.
Great log line.
It's in her contract that we have to mention her
Yeah.
here, so she's starring as
We're
Guinevere.
like, listen, Guinevere's a big part. How do we get her in the log line? I got it. Just splice her in there at the end.
Let's just say who's playing her.
In the role of a lifetime, Keira Knightley is Guinevere.
Gary Oldman is Guinevere.
Now, Jim, do you think were you at this lovely showing of this movie back in the day with us? Do you think? Do you remember seeing this back in the day?
I definitely saw this, and I'm pretty sure it was with you guys.
Well, drum roll for you there, Jim, please. And jokes on you. I actually don't have a ticket stub for the movie. It's Lost to Time.
Wow. Okay. So I'm just assuming I'm right.
I think you're right. Also, I feel like you were there. I feel like this was a one that at least you, me, and Ryan were at. I don't remember if Brendan came to this one. He probably I don't think ever saw this movie, but I'm pretty sure this was a you, me, and Ryan one.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll tell you what, if you don't think so, why don't you prove it? Oh, that's right, you can't.
You're right. I can't. Lost to time in the annals of time until they can build a time machine and let me go back to 2004 and tell previous me to hang on to that ticket stub for dear life. I can't prove it.
Right. Yeah, so call me when you do that. And until then, I was there. It's on the record.
You're right. It's on the docket. He was there. I'll go along with it, Jim, because I hope you were there with us because what a wild ride we had back then seeing this movie. This movie, I
You keep saying
remember.
things like, I hope you were there, as if I wasn't there, but I think we've established that I was indeed there.
You're right. You're right. The stenographer, I'm looking back at the stenographer right now, and she's saying, like, you were there. It's clearly stated in the text.
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
That's what they're there for. But I remember this movie being a seminal movie, and not so much for the movie itself, but kind of what it did for us in our love for Keira Knightley. Because if we weren't
Yeah.
already
I
on the
mean,
Keira Knightley bandwagon for Pirates, like this one really cemented. Like I remember us being like, we're going to see this movie not because they're making a King Arthur movie, but because Keira Knightley was in it.
yeah, she's like a bona fide star by 2004. Absolutely. And the only thing I would add is dangerously close to some of those one-star reviews or where
But Jim,
people are like,
I'm gonna go full perverted chud here right now from '04 because I'm not gonna lie, '04 TJ, I remember when we saw this movie too, and we instantly sought out the movie after this called Hole that she was in because she gets naked in it, and we were very
so funny story about that movie. I've never seen it, and I never
oh
will see
oh
it. You want to know
oh
why?
suddenly the stenographer here is like, oh, I didn't know to write this down.
Yeah. I just also wanted on the record I've never seen that movie and I would never
Lies.
watch it. It's an offensive piece of trash. Do you know how old Keira Knightley was when she filmed the movie Hole?
Probably the same age that I was when I witnessed it because we're like not that far off from each other.
Yeah, so she was definitely underage when she filmed that movie, which is like
Hollywood's gonna Hollywood, baby.
I don't know, man. That was pretty wild to me when I found that out. And like looking back, I'm really glad that I've never seen it because wouldn't that be awkward now?
This
Like,
this guy just pretending that we didn't watch it at his house on his big screen TV while his parents were
would
sleeping
never.
upstairs.
That would never have happened. So I once again, sir, I'm gonna have to ask you to prove it.
Okay, so she was born 1985. Let's see the acting credits. What year did Hole come out? I want the cinema. What? So the whole, all right. So she was born 1985. The whole comes out 2001. What's the
Right.
age on that,
So
Jim? You do the math.
let's do some quick addition here. I
You do
believe 1985 plus 16 would equal 2001.
nice. So she's 16 there, showing off some cans.
Is
I'm
that
gonna
what
say,
happens in that movie? I wouldn't know.
yeah. Oh man, you're really good on the defensive here tonight, man. He's not gonna get tripped up, people. I know what he was
I don't know
saying,
what you're talking about. I
but
mean,
he'll
I've heard it's an interesting movie. I don't know what happens in it.
listen. It was her first major role. Hollywood heard her. Wow, that's really crazy. I did not know she was 16 in that.
Yeah, it's a real wild thing to find out, isn't it?
That is, yeah, that is a wild thing. It is absolutely crazy. I mean, hey, I was young too, so it's not on me.
Yeah. Oof, man, I am so glad I've never seen that
That's
movie and I don't have to go through all these like weird like whatever.
grapple grapple with all my thoughts in my head right now. Like,
Yeah, right. Right.
oh. I feel like Trey Parker and Matt Stone in basketball. They're just like, oh,
Yeah,
oh.
exactly. It's like have we been the monsters the whole time?
Is it me? Am I the chud? Just going to implode in a corner right now while you go into some box office numbers.
Right.
Numbers, dates, numbers, numbers, dates, array, dates, numbers. Show me the money.
All right. King Arthur is going to open the weekend of July 9th through July 11th against a $120 million budget.
It sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean, it's hot. It's a big number, but it's pretty accurate for a lot of the blockbusters we've been doing, right?
But also, like you see it on the screen. I watched this movie and I see where that 120 million went. Like large scale battles in this,
Yeah.
like
Oh,
a lot of horse
absolutely. Yeah.
work, like a lot of crazy extras. Like they put time in.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I would say that it paid off like in spades. At least for the look. We'll talk
I
more
was gonna
about
say
the whole movie a
we'll
little bit
get to
later.
that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that spade when we cross it.
Yeah, there you go. But so against that $120 million budget, it's going to open to a not so big of a number with $15.2 million down in
Oh,
third place.
dear Lord. Yeah, you said it, Jim. That is, oh my Lord. It's 15.2, going to put us in the 64 spot, just ahead of Enough's 14, but right behind. Oh, hey. Man, they really going to make me think about it again. Holes 16.3.
Oh,
Holes with an S, holes with an S. Easy people.
yeah, Kira. Well, yeah, I've seen that movie. Keira Knightley wasn't even in that movie, so I'm I'm good on that front.
Easy. Holes with an S.
Yeah. What? Wow. Wow. We really found a way to talk about that other movie again, huh?
Yeah,
We
no,
really did it.
I'm gonna have to, as I break myself down throughout this episode, I'm just gonna have to keep
Yeah.
contextualizing myself around it.
You're gonna be seeing it everywhere you go now. You're gonna turn into Jim Carrey from that movie, The Number 23. You're like in the shower. You're like, my drain is just a hole.
You're like, oh no, they're everywhere. Hole, here nightly.
how,
I'm sorry
how
we
often
failed
do
you,
I
Kira.
how often do I shower? Nightly?
Nice,
Just saying.
I see what you did there.
It all connects.
Oh, heads up. My God, it's been staring us right in the face this whole time.
Yeah. So King Arthur opens down in third place. It's behind the second week of Spider-Man 2, which we've talked about.
Naturally.
And then it's also behind what I'm guessing is going to be our next movie because I'm also pretty sure I saw this with you guys. Anchorman.
Yeah, Anchorman is our next movie. I wonder, do you think we did a double? There's no way we saw both of those in the same day, right?
I don't know, maybe if we had a ticket stub, we might be able to get to the bottom of it.
We don't. I do have one
Real
for
shame.
Anchor. I do have one for Anchorman, but that doesn't help us figure out the.
Oh, wait a second. Is it maybe that you don't have a ticket stub for King Arthur because we didn't pay to go see King Arthur?
We snuck into it.
Yeah, like if
Oh,
we did
oh
Anchorman
yeah.
and then just walked into King Arthur?
Oh, it's quite possible. Yeah, it's quite possible we did a hop, skip, and a jump. We in no way condone the hop, skipping, and jumping of movie to movie. That is absolutely a thing you should not do. And if you do, make sure you do it in an early afternoon when nobody's paying attention or watching.
Yeah, when nobody really cares.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so anyway, that'll be our next episode. That's here in the mix above King Arthur. It's beating out like Fahrenheit 9/11's third week and The Notebook's third week. But I mean that 15.2 million against that budget, pretty not great.
Yeah, that is not good at all. There's really nowhere to go on that bad boy. Unless you have untold word of mouth that just keeps your legs at 15 a week over week.
Yeah, I mean, plus I'm the holiday guy. They got Arthur Day coming up in a few weeks. They released
Uh-huh.
it, so it's right coming out on Arthur Day.
Wow. Man, they're like, that's a chess move on their part. Two steps ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so going into weekend two, it's gonna drop down all the way to fifth place.
Ooh.
A 52.9% drop down to 7.2 million. So we are like fading
Ooh,
fast
yeah.
here in
Not good
July.
cotton. That's not hanging around long.
No, not at all. I mean, at this point, it's already a flop, right?
Yeah, absolutely. At least
It,
domestically.
it didn't catch on. It's only going to get a week or two to catch on. Well, really only 1 week because it's like that summer kind of gauntlet at this point. So if it doesn't catch on right away, it's in trouble.
Especially in July. Like July, you need to represent because you will get left in the dust if you don't come to play in July.
Yeah, and I mean like a couple of movies that I don't think we are doing, but like I, Robot comes out in these couple of weeks after its opening weekend. Born Supremacy comes out.
Like
Catwoman
these.
comes out. That's another miss, but
Oh,
it's like, you know what I mean? There's like a couple that are kind of like the cream of the crop that are going to end up winning, and then a lot of these turn
definitely.
out to be flops, and King Arthur is definitely the latter.
Yeah, a tough summer to be sandwiched in where you're coming out second week of Spider-Man 2 and you're coming out maybe like a week or so before iRobot. And like we said in previous episodes, Will Smith right now is bona fide A material. Like that dude's opening a movie. So like you're just that's a tough spot to open in.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
mean, it doesn't help that, like, I don't know. Like, there's some IP behind this, but it's kind of
Yeah, I was gonna say, is King Arthur really that big of an IP for like the States at least?
no, not really,
Not
not
only
really.
that, no, there's really no bona fide A-lister in this movie.
Yeah,
Like,
well, I would say Keira Knightley's getting there.
but she's not that
Um,
she doesn't show up until like an hour into the movie.
yeah, that's true. That's fair. I mean, closer to like 45 minutes. It's about an hour when they get him on the ice.
Oh, you think water's cold? You should see ice.
Yeah, I mean there isn't really an A-lister in this. There is like a an absolute barrage
Well,
of
hey,
bad guys
don't
though.
bury the lead on that bad boy. We'll dive into that.
Yeah, yeah, we'll talk more about that later. But like, yeah, like Clive Owen maybe never quite becomes an A-lister in the way some of the other big A-listers we've seen did, right?
Well, this is
Uh,
definitely
Keira
his.
Knightley's kind of getting there, but also like she is kind of an afterthought in this movie, so it's not like your King Arthur movie can't be carried by Guinevere, right?
This is called King Guinevere.
Right, exactly. The movie's not called King Guinevere. Good point.
Thank you, thank you. I'll be here for salient points all night. Thank you.
Yeah, and I mean we'll just keep following this because yeah, we'll get into all that
I
other stuff.
can't
But
imagine we're gonna
let's
be
focus
following
on
it
the
long.
numbers. Right, you're onto something there. So let's see, we're in weekend three. Hold please.
Holding, holding.
Weekend three is going to drop all the way down to ninth place with
Ooh,
just a
there's
little bit over $3 million.
not a shot it gets week four. Let's hear it. Not a shot.
No, I mean, definitely. I mean, well, let's not say definitely, because, Arthur Day is coming up.
You can go out there for like the
Oh,
aardvark,
sorry.
but not King
I'm
Arthur.
misreading my calendar. That's actually Arbor Day. I apologize.
Oh,
Maybe
this
I'm
guy.
not the holiday guy.
My God, this
Uh,
guy.
come on, that was pretty good. Weekend four, it's going to drop all the way down to 13th place. And not really finally. It was actually pretty quick. It's out of the top 10.
Yeah, so they're gonna hang in the number in the 3 week spot with some yeah, definitely some notable movies right there. Head of State, enough, and another night movie, Black Knight.
Yeah, not really the company they were trying for when they put
Yeah, no,
120 million into this movie.
definitely no.
And then just some totals. It's going to finish with 51.9 million domestic.
It's tough. That's a bomb right there.
Yeah, real bad bomb.
That's a bomb.
And I mean, in what's seeming to be a growing trend here, the international market maybe is here to save the day. It's going to finish with 151.7 million for a worldwide total of 203.6.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So once again, the international market comes to play. I mean, kind of makes sense. This is, a big story for Europe and Britain and stuff like that. So it makes sense that that area would be probably much more receptive to this movie than us.
Yeah,
Us
I mean,
uncultured Americans, we don't care for any of that British lore.
yeah, King Arthur, never heard of
Yeah,
him.
please. We don't need got no
Yeah.
kings.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know how much of it is just from the UK or like just if it's just that this is like a legend that's kind of like permeated enough people in different cultures that it'll do well internationally, but like still not really a win, but it makes it
It's,
like a lot more palatable than the 50
it
whatever million
it
domestic
saves
stuff.
it from being an outright bomb, which is like the biggest thing. It's like, hey, we still didn't do great, but at least it's not as bad as if we only made $51 million.
Yeah,
And that
right,
203
exactly.
at 203.6, it's going to put us in the number 45 spot behind SWAT's 207.7 and ahead of Garfield the Movies 203. Which,
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
I don't know if that's the company you're hoping to keep when you make such a big sword and sandal movie like this, but
No, I mean
that's where we are.
45th on the list is probably not what they were shooting for when they put this together. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. They're like, oh dear God, we've made a huge mistake. And a huge mistake they did. The critical reception is just as unkind as the box office.
Yeah, I kind of had
30,
a feeling.
30% from the critics. They are not feeling it. A bit higher though from the audience, 59. They seem to be a little bit about lukewarm, but maybe not as hatred of it as the critics were. 6.3 from IMDb, but the death sentence, a B cinema score.
Oh, not even a B plus.
Yeah, B cinema score. Pack it up. We're going home. It's a loss. Uh,
Disaster.
we got some user reviews here, Jim. The 1 stars were the toughest reviews to compile that I think I've done yet. And I say toughest not because it was hard to find crazy people, but I have never seen such vitriol of titanic length. Every single review had to have been at least like 7 paragraphs. And it was like, I'm not, all for them to say the same exact thing, which is, you can probably guess.
It's not accurate.
Yep. Yeah. 7 paragraphs, pretty much to just succinctly say, I don't like this because it's not my King Arthur.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I mean, sure. Whatever you say, guys.
Yeah. Some absolute insanity there.
I
No,
wish in
yeah,
the future, maybe pick one that's just the absolute craziest of the 7 paragraph bunch, and let's just read the whole thing.
we'll just do one for the one. All right.
Right, just
I'll
do
keep that,
one,
yeah, I'll keep
exactly.
that in mind for the future. If I find somebody so heinously insane in 7 paragraphs, we can dive into them. So I did manage to find 3 1 stars that were of a respectable length to read here. And they still managed to say the exact same thing that those assholes took 7 paragraphs to say, but they only did it in one. So we're gonna go with them tonight. And our first person writes, I saw it tonight, and I'm sorry. I thought it was awful. The lead actor made me giggle. He was so gormless, Jim. Gormless.
What?
Can
Gotta
we
be, gotta be a typo.
can you get a reading on gormless? No, Jim, I'll give you 8 guesses on what gormless could possibly mean before you look it up.
Wait, are you serious? Is gormless actually a word?
Gormless is a word.
I give up. What does it mean? Just tell me.
Foolish. He was foolish, Jim.
Oh, wow. I mean, hey, I guess you learn something new every day, right? And
Yeah.
if I
Or
learned
somebody
that, I maybe would put it in a movie review post too.
or this dude just wrote like foolish into Google or something and looked up what synonyms were, and he just looked for the smartest synonym to
Right,
put up,
right.
and he's like,
The
"That's
one,
what we're
the one
going
that
with,
he like
baby."
knew nobody had ever heard of.
Yeah, he's like, "Look at how smart I'm gonna seem. Gormless, they'll never see it coming. You'll never see me coming." He continues. It was like he was constantly searching for the auto cue, or maybe they hid some of his lines underneath a goblet. We were cracking up laughing as he was trying to deliver some lines while trying to remain in control of the horse at the same time. His terrible acting delivery totally ruined this for me. We were taking the piss out of him for most of the duration, and that should not happen in such an epic movie where the lead actor should command respect from the outset by me. This guy was an embarrassment. They should have hired a rugby league player to do it instead. They would have done a far more admirable job. There is, however, one high point in the movie, Keira Knightley.
I knew
What
it.
a babe.
Oh my, oh my God, dude. It is like these people, we should have known that they needed to be stopped all the way back in 2004. And we, you know what? We let it happen, and look what we've all become.
We reaped what we've sown. We can't stop them. They're self-sustaining now.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why? Why on earth do you need to add that to your movie review? That you clearly didn't like the movie.
Listen, there was one highlight for him, baby. Ladies.
Yeah, not just any ladies, a very particular lady.
Lady.
It's so very silly. I can't stand it.
It's amazing. And I love that you can always count on it week over week for some pervert to just be like, this movie sucked, but boy, howdy, did I see a lady in it.
Yeah, it's like, but Keira Knightley in that blue paint, oh my.
Oh, me, oh, my, oh, me, oh, my.
It's like it's amazing how consistent that is too.
Glorious, dude.
For these
There's,
like sci-fi kind of movies that everybody was disappointed by, they're like, but anyway, Kate Beckinsale looked pretty cool.
yeah, 3 certainties in life, baby: death, taxes, and perverts on the 1 star reviews.
Yeah, seriously.
Gotta love them. We got our
Those
next person
miserable
here.
fucks.
Yeah, next person here, and they write, I love a good Hollywood movie. I loved Troy and Braveheart. I've seen pretty much every big movie made in the last 15 years. As a university student, I have a lot of time on my hands. The guy at the video store knows me by name. That's how you know I represent. However, this movie was just unbelievably awful. The acting painful, the accents hilarious, but most importantly, the storyline was just plain bad. It angers me to discuss this movie. I place it alongside The Avengers and Josie and the Pussycats, which were both better than this movie. Please don't see it. Jerry Bruckheimer is kidding himself. I haven't seen Kangaroo Jack, but I'm guessing it ain't good. Good move there, buddy. He seems quite happy to get paid without a care of the types of movies he's ripping out. Me, I'm angry.
Oh my god.
What a way to
Listen,
sign
pal.
out.
Take it to Steve down at the video store. I don't got time for your bullshit.
He knows.
Bring it up with him. He seems to be your only friend anyway.
Pull up my street cred. I know the guy at the video store knows me by name. That's right.
Yeah, that doesn't mean anything besides you spend way too much time at the video store.
All right, like get your movies and go home and watch them, nerd. Like
Right. Go, go
hanging
for a
around
hike or
talking to the guy
something.
all day. It's like so funny. Nothing makes me more mad. Like I can only imagine because video store probably would have been if those were still around, like when we were older, like they're kind of dying out as we started to get jobs. If they were around like when we were older and getting jobs, like I definitely probably would have had that as one of my first jobs. And I probably would have hated every single person that would just want to stand around and talk to you all day about movies instead of like just renting a movie and leaving. Because at my theater
Yeah,
all the
of
time, when
course.
people just hang around and talk about the movies, and I'm just like, dude, leave, just get out. I don't talk to you about movies. Get out.
For real, man. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I've never wanted to work at a video store, and like they were fun to go rent videos from, but the whole like subculture thing is so weird to me. And like who cares if the guy at the video store knows your name?
Right? Like you think he has any like cred when it comes to movies? Like he just works there.
Right. It's like just some dope who's like
Dude's probably stoned out of
it's
his
like
mind
he's
just trying to get
not
through
even
his
the
shift.
manager at the fucking video store.
Oh man, that's so good. We got one last one-star review here. And they write, I've seen some dire films in my time, but this must be up there as the worst serious film I have seen in a long time. This movie is trash. First off, let me support the story. I didn't care that they took a realistic look at the legend. In fact, I preferred the Roman theory to the popular myth, but it was conceived badly. In my opinion, Antoine Fuqua was the wrong choice as director. I think they needed someone with a bit more experience within this genre to make it a good movie. The first battle scene was awful. Why? Because these Roman battles were horrendous. But instead of going for the realistic battle bloodshed, they went with a censorship happy bit of red paint on a sword. That is not good enough in 2004. Monsieur Owen as King Arthur was so bad. He has one emotion and his voice almost put me to sleep. Lessons should be learned.
Lessons should be learned is my favorite quote we've had in reviews so far. That's amazing. Was that in all caps?
No, but he
Okay.
has he has an exclamation point at the end though, so you know
Okay.
he means
No,
business.
great job on the delivery. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you.
Incredible job.
I took a few acting classes, if I do say so myself. I got
Lessons should be learned.
and learn them we shall, my friend. Learn them we shall. We switch our way over here though to the 10-star reviews here, Jim. And this first person writes, Clive Owen plays the Roman Britain warlord Lucius Arturius Castus. He does a wonderful job playing the Arthur of the film. Keira Knightley plays a sexy and Amazon-like Guinevere. Ian Grufford plays a credible Lancelot. I was surprised at the negative review of this film in my local newspaper. All I have to say is the critic is an ignorant bum, I say. There are no spoilers in this review. I don't want to spoil it for you. The film is dark and gritty and is very appropriate for the time period. The violence is abundant, but not too graphic. I give it a 9 out of 10. Why is it in the 10 stars then, asshole?
Yeah. This I'm calling shenanigans. What do you mean he gave it a
We
9 out
need
of 10?
we need the person from last week calling shenanigans on the padding of the ratings on IMDb right here. We've got it dead to
Yeah,
rights.
that's true. He's got an extra point in there that he didn't want.
They're like, seems kind of fishy to me. We should probably do some investigating in the IMDb system.
Yeah. Dude, also another like 10-star review thing where they like repeat like the plot. Like they basically write the blurb. It's so interesting to me.
They're like, let me give you my version of the log line. Keira Knightley, Amazon like,
Yeah,
what?
what a babe. It's so ridiculous.
I give it two palms up.
Yeah.
Easy guy, easy.
Sexy and Amazon like Guinevere. Yeesh.
It's like Jesus guy. Take it
Yeah,
down a peg or two.
yeah. Like let's
I could just
relax for a minute, okay?
I could just picture him panting like a dog in the theater when she shows up on screen.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, just it's incredible the trend that we're seeing on this front.
It's beautiful. It's like one of my favorite things of all time. Our next 10 star writes King Arthur was one of the absolute greatest films I have ever seen in my life. Clive Owen's portrayal was spectacular. Nobody could have done it better. Keira Knightley, fine as always, was great as
Oh
Guinevere.
God, are we like 4 for 4?
For the knights were awesome as well. I think the thing that made the movie for me was just how passionate Arthur was for wanting to do his duty and not let the Saxons take over. One of the best moments of the film was when Electo's father kidnaps the kid and Kiera steps up and shoots him with an arrow. It was just great. I must reiterate this fact. King Arthur, one of the absolute greatest films I have ever seen.
Yeah. What's that guy's username? Is it incredibly low bar? Is it?
I listen, I must reiterate the fact. Another perverted call out.
Yeah,
In
it's insane at
parentheses.
this point.
He rolled it up in parentheses. Fine as always.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who saw a hole out there, and thankfully I'm not one of them, but all of these people are on my suspect list, you know?
We've got them all on a watch list right now. I'm actually sending all of these usernames to the FBI right now.
Yeah, right. Please report.
Cash Patel's cross-eyed ways will catch all these people in the crosshairs. Our next 10 star writes This movie was wonderful. I saw it 2 nights in a row, and I love it. The reason why most people don't like it is because they are expecting to see a King Arthur story, when it's not really. What you have to think when you see it is that these are different characters than what you know, just the same names, and forget everything that you know already about the Arthur stories. Just treat this as a different story, and you'll love it. People are being too harsh on this movie. I bet you anything, if the movie had a different name and different character names and never said anything about being based on Arthur, then everyone would love this. Judgmental Fox.
That's I mean, on the one hand, that guy kind of cooked when he was like, "Can everybody just fucking chill out about the whole like it has to be this way in the story thing?"
So I'm about to just give him all of his flowers for not mentioning Keira Knightley at all.
Yeah, right, right. Also good. Yeah, also good. We got a little bit of a breather from that.
Man controlled himself there. Good
But
work, sir.
yeah, no, I don't I don't know. He kind of lost me by the end though.
Yeah, well, it's just so funny that your defense has to be like, just pretend it's just different things and you'll like it.
Yeah. Well, like that is like a very honest defense. I think that is a great point. I'm not so sure how it fits in a 10-star review of this movie, but
Maybe like
I agree with it as a general thing.
if you gave it like a 5 or a 6, like maybe that would align a little bit more properly. Like it's just like listen, like just temper your expectations. All right, it's all right that it's not what you expecting it to be.
Yeah, it's like if this movie wasn't about King Arthur, I don't think it exists, buddy.
Yeah,
Like, so just keep that in mind.
yeah. I also don't think we're going to be seeing a lot more 10 star classic reviews if you just take the name King Arthur out of it.
Yeah.
We have one more 10 star reviewer here,
Oh boy.
and they write. This movie is great for repairing the damage done by years of awful ancient and medieval movies, from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves through Braveheart right on down to Troy, filled with jarring historical inaccuracies, bright chemical costume dyes, military uniforms, and absurdly modern characters are common to all of them. America is the only country in the world that produces this garbage. Enough already. I want my ancient times ancient. Fuqua is to be commended for obviously bringing in an excellent archaeological staff, and I imagine archaeologists
What do you
come a
think?
bit cheaper than Kevin Costner, Mel Gibson, or Brad Pitt.
What do you think they like dug up the costumes for this movie? What do they need archaeologists for? What the fuck is this guy talking about?
Like, Jesus Christ, guy. I mean, yeah, an archaeologist would be a bit cheaper than Kevin Costner, Mel Gibson, or Brad Pitt, but I don't know what that has to
I
do
mean,
with
I think
anything.
it depends on what you're asking him to do. I'm not really sure.
He just shows up to set. He's like, listen, I need you to find me like 800 costumes that are all time period
Yeah.
for King Arthur.
Right, right, right.
He's like, I don't know, did you like try the museum? He's like, no, 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 dude, I need you to dig it up in the wild. Like, that's what you do.
I was thinking of putting Kevin Costner or Brad Pitt or Mel Gibson in this movie. And then I realized I could use that money and just rent some clothes from Gary the archaeologist. What do they have? I'm so confused by like, there's no way they're involved, right?
This is a man who's watched Indiana Jones one too many times and thinks that's what
Right,
they do.
right. So stupid.
Fucking incredible. But all right, Jim. Now I turn it over to us. And you mentioned it a little bit before, and it's probably something that I would love to kick off this conversation of this movie with. Because while watching it, I don't think I've ever had so many like, dude, no way moments. But this has to be the most insanely stacked cast of before they were famous actors that I've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah, so I mean, I am not sure who the guy who plays Merlin is.
So the guy who plays
Um,
Merlin is Stannis Baratheon. There's like 8 Game of Thrones actors in this. First off,
oh, no
it,
way.
Merlin is
Okay,
Stan.
yeah,
Yeah, Merlin
that's a
is
good one.
Stannis Baratheon.
That is a good one.
Yeah,
Okay.
which is absolutely nuts to me. Um, who else? There's like a bunch of other people in it that were like when I saw it, I was like, dude, that guy was in Game of Thrones. That guy was in Game of Thrones. I should note, I don't know what version of this you watched, but unfortunately on my DVD, the only version that it would allow me to watch is the director's cut.
Oh, no way. So you
Yeah,
saw the director's cut of this?
but apparently the director's cut just adds in all of the blood and gore that they cut out to make it PG-13 instead of an R. Because originally this was supposed to be an R-rated movie. And then
Yeah.
they wanted to try and reach a broader audience, which, really in hindsight really worked out for them. So they cut out a lot of the gore and blood to make it PG-13. So that's what most of what they added back in was. But I think there's one scene that's in the director's cut that I don't think is in the theatrical version, which is where another Game of Thrones actor is.
Okay,
Because in your version, you never actually see Pelagius, right?
no, yeah, he's not in it.
Yeah, so he shows up in one scene in the director's cut, and that guy is a Game of Thrones actor also.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, he's not in this one. The kid just tells Clive Owen that he was killed.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, no, that's a Game of Thrones actor. But not only that, you're looking at also there's like 4 different Star Wars actors in this thing also that would go on to do like big Star Wars stuff. You got
Yeah.
Joel Egerton is in this, like
Right.
absolutely
Joel
insane.
Egerton's a big one. Yeah.
Fucking I think the craziest one is when Mads Mikkelsen pops up. And I'm like, dude, no fucking
Yeah,
way. That's Mads Mikkelsen. Like that's
it sure
insane.
was.
Yeah. Ray Stevenson, another member of the round table, also goes on to be in Star Wars.
Yeah,
And
we've got a Skarsgård in
yeah,
here.
dude, Skarsgård, which it's still so amazing to me that no matter how good Alex Skarsgård or Bill Skarsgård are in movies, they can never touch their father. Like Stellan will always be like, "You will never be as good as I am."
He's
Like,
got some serious aura, dude, for
yeah,
real. And he kind of carries this movie at points.
and it's amazing that no matter what you give this man, like he's knocking it out of the park. Whether it's this, whether it's in Pirates of the Caribbean in the following year, the Avengers movies, like this dude
Yep.
is always Dune, like. This man is just his bona fides are unbelievable.
Yeah, he's incredible. Yeah. So, and I mean, he does a great job as the villain in this movie.
And then rounding
I
out,
also don't know how to say this
yeah,
guy's name, but Till Schweiger.
yeah, Till Schweiger, German actor, big. He every time he showed up, took me right out of the movie because every time it just sounds like a German, and it's like his accent is all over the place in that movie because you hear Stellan Skarsgård doing one thing, and then Schweiger's his son and is completely on another plane. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
and it's like, dude,
absolutely.
it's not even close, man.
I'm gonna stop you there since we brought him up. He is also in New Year's Eve, was he not?
Yes, yes, he was. Yeah, yep,
Yeah,
that's right, he was.
I would
My
take New
God.
Year's Eve still
He
over
was
this
the
movie.
he was one of the newborns, right? Like they were about to have
Right,
like
that
their
were
kid.
racing to have the kid at
Yeah,
like
they were
midnight.
racing
Yeah,
to have the kid. Yeah, unbelievable. And then rounding out the Knights table is Ray Winstone, who is in Indiana Jones, who's in The Departed. He
yep.
would go on to be a big tough guy in movies also. Like so it's just like it blows my mind just the cast they amassed for this movie.
The
Like, if
cast is
nothing
nuts.
else,
Yeah,
the cast is absurd for this movie. And that's not even counting, fucking Clive Owen, Keira Knightley, and Ian Crawford, like really starting to take off in their careers around this time.
yeah. I'm glad you brought up Clive Owen because I'm just gonna come right out and say it, dude. He kind of stinks in this
Dude,
movie. He
dude,
kind of
I'm so glad you said that because I remember us really being high up on Clive Owen. And I
yeah,
remember movies like this and Shoot 'em Up being ones that really got us up on him. And us always wondering, like, man, like he kind of just fizzled out. Like, why didn't we see him more? And rewatching this movie now, I totally understand why we don't see it. Like, he has the most wooden performance in this movie. Like, there's
yeah,
no range in that emotion. No matter what he's emoting, he sounds exactly the same every time. The monotone
yeah.
every time throughout this whole performance is I was like, dude, man, did we gaslight ourselves into loving Clive Owen? Like, what did we do?
No, Clive Owen's in some good movies that he is good in.
Children of
Uh,
Men probably being the high watermark there.
Children of Men comes to mind, yeah, as one that he's in. That's a really good movie. But I don't know that Clive Owen's the problem. I think Clive Owen's maybe just maybe phoning it in a little bit in this King Arthur movie though, because he is pretty terrible throughout. Like
It's
you
when
said, yeah, he's like very monotone. Like I never really believe like what he's talking about. You know what I mean? Like, and he's
when
gonna
he has to
give like
deliver
the
those
big rah rah
speeches.
speech at the end, and like that doesn't really do it for me the way it should in these kinds of movies.
Dude, just when he shouts Roos back to Ray Winstone after he does
Yep.
it, and Ray Winstone sells the fucking shit out of it. Like when Ray Winstone says it, I'm like, dude, it's fucking powerful. And then Clive Owen does it back, and it just sounds like a kid like whining from like afar. It's like, oh, dude,
Yeah, not
like,
great.
oh
Right.
man, like this is
Right.
poor. My God.
Yeah, so I don't know. He kind of held this movie back for me in a pretty big way because he was not great. I agree with everything you're saying. I was
And I,
also pretty surprised, like the first couple of scenes where he was like being like over dramatic and not very believable. I was kind of like, oh no, is this really how this movie's gonna go? And then it's kind of just how it goes. Like that's how he is like the whole time.
which is a shame because, like, I like the themes of this movie. Like, I don't mind that, like, I don't give a shit at all that they didn't adhere to the story of King Arthur. Like, I like the theme of this movie and how it's in, like, this is what the legend would go on to inspire, that it was just all legends are like most of the time inspired by just men who were willing to do the right thing and aspire to a better ideal than themselves. And that
Sure.
would kind of like spur on a legend. So I like the theme of this movie, but it's just such a shame because I feel like, especially his performance by us not believing it and him kind of either phoning it in or not being able to come up to the gravitas of the performance, I'm never able to fully buy into any of the emotion that they want me to feel in this movie. Like at the end, when you're supposed to get like all hyped up when the rest of his team decides like to no, we're gonna go back and we're gonna fight with him. And it's supposed to be like this big, huge, sweeping moment. And you're supposed to be like on the couch, like, fuck yeah, baby, we're going back. And like I feel nothing about in that moment. Because it's just
Yeah.
like the themes are there, but like I just like you guys did not do enough to really heavily invest me emotionally in anything that really happens in this movie. And I don't know if
Yeah,
that's
so
because of the acting or just because of the just kind of cliched fetch quest that they forced the middle of this movie to take.
I mean, I think it's partially the acting anyway. I think that other people in this movie are better than Clive Owen, so I'll like, say that. Like, I don't think all the acting is bad. I think Clive Owen's pretty bad, basically.
I'm with you. I think he's the one that bears the brunt of the bad acting, but he's the lead. Like that's gonna trickle
Right,
to
right.
everything.
It matters that it's him, yeah.
Yeah.
I also think you're touching on something pretty important for this movie, which is it is just a fetch quest, and in terms of obstacles, there's really not a lot of them, you know?
Yeah.
They basically on the fetch quest, two things happen. They go to they run into the woad people in the woods who seemingly just like kind of like wrangle them a little bit and then they like have a conversation. Right, he talks to Merlin at that point or
Oh,
Merlin like lets him go in the forest at that point, right?
they just like wrangle them, and then like when they're waiting for the fight, they just disappear and let them go.
Right, right. So that was one of the things that
It's
happened,
like
which,
us.
based
It's
on
like
what you just said, you could argue whether that's even a thing that happened. Like,
that's like us just catching a fish and then throwing it back in the water.
right, right, right. And then the second thing that happens is they get there, and that's it. That part of the journey's over.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
there's like no like obstacles really that go down that really get you anywhere.
Yeah.
And then I mean, there's like some interesting stuff happening once they get there, and it's interesting like you can kind of see Arthur going from a place of like, I can't wait to get out of here to be like, oh man, but who's gonna look after these people if I leave? Like they're totally screwed. Like they don't have any good people around here. So like I kind of dig that part. It's at least getting to the meat and potatoes of what the movie is about. But then on their way back, also nothing really happens besides they have one little standoff with like a small portion of the army, like the Saxon army, that they win basically immediately, right? Like like a guy dies to get it done, but it's never really like you never really feel the 200 against 8 odds the way that you probably ought to in a movie like this. Like they kind of just stand there very safely and shoot arrows at them, and one of them just barely gets killed when he wipes out like an entire army. You know what I mean? It's a little bit lopsided with how easy it
They
is.
also make them like superheroes in the sense that they're just like we're out of range, but like they just like magically get the extra feet to just arrow the
Yeah.
shit out of people, and it's like what? Like
Right, right. Which I that part I kind of like. Like that's how this movie should be. It's kind of like Dynasty Warriors in that way. Where I don't know if you've ever seen the Dynasty Warriors movies that they had on Netflix, but they are all amazing.
no, not the movies.
They're pretty great.
I'll take your
But
word for it.
But yeah, so like not a lot happens throughout this movie, and that's also why I kind of feel like that ending stuff is unearned, right? I guess that you could make the argument that his like band of dudes kind of learned the same lesson he did by going to that town and seeing how that priest guy was treating everybody. And then also like they could also understand that kind of what they understood the whole time that Arthur didn't get, which is that like Rome really isn't worth fighting for, right? So like I guess you could sort of say that that's happening in the middle, but other than that, like there's nothing that's like making me be excited about when they come back. I just don't really feel like the pull in either direction that I think I'm supposed to for that kind of decision in a movie.
But also like outside of Boars having a bunch of wives, or a wife and a bunch of kids, what do we learn about any of the other people in the round table?
Yeah, nothing. It's perfect
Nothing.
storm syndrome,
Yeah.
where like they're just
We
like a
just got
bunch
a
of
bunch
like
of dudes.
faceless dudes.
Yeah. So like that moment when they finally decide at the end to follow Arthur through thick and thin, like the beginning of the movie sets up where like one day Arthur, like your ideals and what you're willing to do for your men will in turn come back to you with in loyalty. Like I don't feel any of that because I didn't get a chance to know any of these fucking people. Like
Yeah, you know what threw me off about those guys too? Like I agree with everything you just said for sure. But what threw me off a little bit was I didn't really buy that any of them would have wanted to go all the way back home. You know what I mean? Like the guy who had found a wife and had a life and was kind of like set up there seemed to
yeah,
make way more sense to me than the guys who were like, well, I've just been fighting for 15 years. Now I'm going to ride a few months east and go back home. It's like, is there really a home for you there anymore? You know?
yeah. They don't
So
really
maybe
they don't do
I
any
think,
job at fleshing them out
right.
to
And I
distinguish
think that
why they
was,
would want to get home either.
right.
It's literally just it's just there. It's a MacGuffin. I need to get home. Why? The plot wants me to.
Right, because you know, like you saw when I left, it was a real bummer.
Yeah.
Like, it's like
Yeah.
that's not really gonna do it for me, you know?
Which is a shame because like I I didn't hate like I didn't outright hate this movie. Like I think some of the like a lot of the action is like still really cool. I think the final battle is like pretty sick.
Yeah,
And
agreed. Agreed
yeah,
on that front for sure.
yeah. Like when Keira Knightley comes out all blue and they charge the field and like she just starts wrecking house. I'm like, dude, this movie's pretty sick. Like this is a
Yeah,
pretty sick battle. Like I'm not gonna
pretty
lie.
sick. She has a sweet combat role in the middle there too.
Also, though, she's a terrible, terrible friend because she pretty much just like goads Lancelot into coming to help her. And when Lancelot shows up and like hits Till Schweiger like off of her, instead of them teaming up to be 2-on-1, she just disappears.
Yeah.
And then you don't
I
see
mean,
her
look,
again until he takes an arrow to the chest. And then she's like, oh no. It's like, where'd you go?
yeah, totally. Right, yeah. I just like it's like I wonder like that felt like it was like edited together kind of weird, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like maybe that
spatial
wasn't
awareness.
exactly how they drew it up at first, but that's just the way it came out in the editing room.
Yeah, that bad situational awareness there.
Yeah, but she did kind of leave him hanging. But look, she had a job to do, man. She knew the whole time she had to get with Arthur. That was her mission.
And also like that, like really feels forced in this. That just like they're just gonna throw down and have sex. Like it's like
I mean, I think if this were a better movie, I might say that part of the like push and pull of the middle is that Guinevere is trying to like basically trick him into doing
it's
something
like
that she thinks is like
it's almost like
I mean
she's seducing
she's
him to
trying to
like
persuade him.
yeah,
So yes, like that was kind of what I was thinking is she's kind of seducing him and being like, "Well, look, if when you save the Britons, man, you could be having this all the time."
yeah.
You know,
Like you
like
like what you see, bro. Like it's on the menu, but like you got to represent, man. You got to
yeah,
protect.
you gotta do the right thing.
Yeah.
It's the only way.
Which like I'm all for that, but the movie needs to put the
It
legwork
doesn't
in.
it doesn't ever like pay off in any way
Yeah,
though.
it
It's just like
or
that
even build.
that's
It
just the
doesn't
thing
build it.
that existed in my head that the movie isn't really explicitly doing, you know? Like
Yeah.
it could have explored that a lot more.
Yeah, definitely could have explored that a lot more. And I wonder, again, I know like we like to say that we don't want to like rewrite our movies, but I wonder if this movie would be better served if it's almost like a siege movie where it's like the Saxon army is there and they're just like stuck there and through them having to find a way to, just exist through this and he's dealing because like his biggest antagonist is that bishop and then he just like fucks off from him for like the whole middle half of the movie. And then at the end the bishop just dips and it's like, I know, I want to see more of the two of them interacting because, like, the bishop is the one most likely to counteract Clive Owen's faith because he sees right from this guy, like, how shitty like, the people that can, like, contort his faith can be.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and like that is in there a little bit. It's in there a little bit. Like that guy like
They
looked Clive Owen
use,
in the eyes and didn't tell him that Plagueis was dead or whatever his friend's name was.
yeah, but they
Like
use the
even though he
stand-in
knew.
of the guy that they have to go fetch to be that instead of it, like, coming directly from the bishop.
Yeah, I don't know. You're right that I don't like to rewrite them, and I get where this movie was going with it, which is like he has to go on this last mission even though he doesn't want to because it's the only way to get his guys free, and that's not fair, but it's just the way the situation they're in. And I think that's a good break to get into Act 2 in this movie. I think most of Act 2 is pretty boring. but I do like the idea of like when they finish the quest, they get what they want, and then he decides to stay, even though at this point there's nothing keeping him there anymore. It's just his word and like what he thinks is right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that stuff all works for me.
Yeah,
It's just
those
that
themes
that stuff is
resonate.
existing in a really bad movie.
Yeah.
So it's like it doesn't hit nearly as hard as I want it to, you know?
Yeah, because those themes resonate like that. Like those moments, I'm all in, and I'm digging it. But
Like,
the middle just drags by not doing enough interesting roadblocks to test that resolve of what he's trying to keep himself from doing, which is basically, going against Rome and being here for these people of Britain,
yeah, and I mean
standing up for what's right.
part of the problem is I don't really buy that he wants to go back to Rome either. And part of that is like a testament to, I think, Clive Owen's like what I would say pretty lackluster performance in this movie. So then when he decides to not do that, I still don't really care because it's like you
Yeah.
were saying with everybody else, I don't really buy like his whole thing to go back home. You know, Clive Owen's like whole philosophy is I'm gonna go back to Rome because everybody's free. Like
Just like,
it's
because like Pelagius told me 15
sure.
years ago, that place was pretty cool.
Yeah. But like it's just like I'm pretty sure that it's like the exact opposite of what the Roman Empire actually was. Like they weren't free. Like you were literally like living in conquered lands, dude. Like what are you talking
Yeah,
about?
like you were doing their business for like 15 years. Like you're telling me as you age, you didn't get a clue. Like,
Yeah, and like somebody even mentions it in the movie. It's like, dude, how is everybody free in Rome? You guys have slaves. Like it's like I think you got to really rethink your whole philosophy here, Clive Owen. Like you're not living in reality the whole time, so it doesn't even feel like that much of a betrayal later on. Like when
yeah,
he breaks, it's like everybody around him is just collectively like, "Yeah, man, what did you think was happening? Like what was your idea?"
they're like, thank you for finally catching up to the rest of us, bro. We've been here for weeks.
Yeah, more than that. 15 years or so, I would say. Like
It's a
you've
shame.
been commanding the people like that are not free. You've been in charge of them. They literally rode past your house on their horses in captivity to go into your army. Like
He thinks just because he has a round table, he's like, no, no, everyone in my eyes, we're all free,
oh yeah,
baby. Like,
in Rome, we're fighting for freedom, baby. It's like it's like so I don't know. He's never believable. So then when he decides to stay, it's kind of like I don't know. Like I guess so. It doesn't hit quite as hard.
well, I think that's like a core theme throughout this movie is that like it's got the theme down and it resonates, but without those moments to really help build out that conflict, every time he achieves something or we get to a big moment, it's just left feeling hollow.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I'll give you two movies right now that I'm gonna take out of the little like this or that we're gonna do later on because there's no way it's gonna beat either of them, right? I think part of the problem with King Arthur is that when I go back and watch it, I don't know that there was a lot of good versions of this movie around in 2004. You know what I mean? Like,
It's King
and I
Arthur.
don't just mean like King Arthur, I mean like the like king fighting for freedom, like, like lots of big medieval battles, like that kind of movie. Like, I think part of the problem for going back to King Arthur is that there's been better versions of this genre done since then, with again way better leading men than Clive Owen.
Talking, of course, about
Um,
2018's Robin Hood, right?
no, not 2018's Robin Hood. That one will very much be in the this or that we do later. But there's been two with like really spectacular lead actors. The first one is Outlaw King,
Yep.
which is like a dope movie, and it does basically everything that this movie does. Like it's like a slight variation on what it's the two movies are basically about the same thing though, in my opinion. And they do it so much better in a much tighter story with a much better actor, and you know what I mean? Like, so I think that movie, and then the other movie is The King with Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah,
Like
I
those
know
two
so.
movies, I don't know why I would ever go back and watch the 2004 version of King Arthur when those two movies exist. You know what I'm saying? Like,
No, I feel that. And I mean, it makes sense. This movie, I think the biggest thing that this movie has going for it is just it's got some really good staged battle sequences. And that's about like the best thing you can say for it. It's also fun to go back and see it just for the absolute sheer what the fuckness of seeing all of these huge actors before they got famous.
yeah.
But you're really not going to get much out of this other than a couple of really cool battle scenes and an absolutely hilariously unhinged Stellan Skarsgård performance.
Yeah, I mean, Scar. It does have a Skarsgård. That's what it's got going above all those other
That's an
movies.
absolute pro right there because Skarsgård is just a revelation in everything he does. He's so good.
Yeah, the other thing I would mention, and I just thought of it when you brought up Stellan Skarsgård, I would kind of like to see the director's cut version that you saw because the theatrical cut that was edited, a lot of the classic like one-on-one showdowns that happen in the middle of the big medieval battles, like they looked very campy. Like when King Arthur and Stellan Skarsgård fight at the end,
Uh,
it's very silly the way that fight ends. And it's partially because there's like no blood and gore.
how does it end in the theatrical one? Walk me through it, and I can tell you if it's
I'm
changed
pretty
at all.
sure I'm guessing it's like the same way, but Stellan Skarsgård has Arthur like kind of like down and like away from him, and then Arthur does like the classic like stab back
Yep.
move,
Yep.
which like that part was fine. But then he gets up and like does like this little like sword swing, like spin, and it looks like straight out of like the Power Rangers show from when we were kids, like the way it hits him. Like it looks so fake, you know? And then like the next thing you know, like they cut back and there's like a little like tiny cut going across his chest. But like it's the kind of thing where you almost expect it to be realistic looking in these kinds of
Yeah.
movies these days, you know?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit more bloody in the director's cut version. But it's still shown the same exact way. It's not like cut
Yeah.
differently.
I guess what I'm trying to say is because all that stuff is probably edited to hell, it looks a little weird.
Yeah.
I think like the original version of it that they actually filmed to be that way probably looks a lot better, but it's just something that sticks out about the version that I watched that was just kind of like jarring.
It's almost like you should just let directors do the version that they create and just take it to the bank.
Yeah, but I mean, they needed that PG-13 so it could be a box office success.
Listen, if we didn't make it PG-13, we never would have got 15 million. No, we never would have got 15 million opening weekends
Yeah, right.
at the height of the summer.
What
Well,
a
all I know
dream.
is that it's going to be looking up for Keira Knightley and Stellan Skarsgård the following year when they do Dead Man's Chest together. Do you think they
Yeah,
just walked off this set and flew to the Caribbean together and just went, like walked right into doing pirates?
probably. I mean, why not? Sure.
Dude, what a great
That's a
career
fan
for
fiction I can get behind.
yeah, what a great career for Stellan Skarsgård, man.
You ever see that movie My Dinner with Andre?
Yeah,
It's there's gonna be a movie that comes
my
out next
my
year. It's all
flight with
about
Keira Knightley.
the conversation Keira Knightley and Stellan Skarsgård had on the plane to the Caribbean.
I mean, I would watch that movie. I can't lie. I would watch that. Do you have anything else you want to touch on? You feel like we haven't gotten
not
to?
re- not really.
Yeah, I think we've really hit onto the crux of our what we really got out of this movie, and I'm ready to take it wherever you want to take it, my friend.
Yeah, so I mean, let's go look. There are some awards here. I haven't actually read through them yet, so I'll
Real
try and
right.
keep this as brief as possible. King Arthur is nominated for 6 Academy Awards.
Yeah. You're hilarious.
No, not it's not. It's not nominated for any of those
You
actually.
had me for a second.
Not really much going on here. There are some Teen Choice Awards.
Oh, naturally.
Keira Knightley gets breakout female movie star for this
Oh.
and Pirates. It's like I guess they came
Oh.
out like close enough together where they can be grouped.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
pretty good.
in what is a quirk that I only see in the Teen Choice Awards, and I will never understand. Keira Knightley is nominated for Choice Breakout Star in 2004. In 2005, she's nominated for Choice Movie Actress in an action adventure thriller. So like this movie had like spans
Years.
two Teen Choice Awards,
It's
which
like how does that make sense?
yeah, and like I get what you like what I'm thinking is like okay, so she got nominated for like a single one in 2004. So maybe it's just like weird timing. Like this movie specifically was probably just in the 2005 Teen Choice Awards, right? And that's why she's over there. Wrong, because it's also a 2004 nominee for Choice Movie of the Summer. So like it's just like sporadically
It's
into
just
Teen
like
Choice Awards. And I gotta say, man, I'm really starting to think these Teen Choice Awards can be bought. Like, I'm just like, they're like,
dunk it.
you thought you did good in the 2004 ones. Just throw me a little more money. We'll put them in the 2005 ones too.
The Teen Choice Awards where the votes don't matter and your thing is up for grabs.
You're right, right, right. Where the Teen Choice Awards, where we don't care what year your movie came
We
out. Just give us the money, sir.
should we'll reach out to them this year to nominate King Arthur for Choice
You're
Female.
right, right. Exactly.
How much to
It's like
spread some love Kara's way?
it's very, very silly. And then that's the only thing like really worth mentioning here. Like there she gets some Irish TV and film awards.
Of course.
Best international actress, which good for her.
She's Irish though. She's British, right?
Yeah, well she did, that's why she wins best international actress cuz she's not
Oh, at the
Irish.
Irish or okay, all
Right,
right,
right, right, right,
yeah,
right.
all right, good.
Exactly. Um also she's nominated for hottest babe. No, I'm just kidding.
And the Chuds go wild. Woo!
Yeah, right. And the one star reviews that finally found something they can agree with. That's really all I have for awards. There's not really much worth talking about here. So I want to get into what's going to be the meat and potatoes of this.
Oh yeah.
We are going to go through some medieval movies and see
Oh
where King Arthur
baby.
lands.
What a genre. A genre that's kind of feels a little bit lost to time. What's the I'm gonna be curious as we go through them to see what the last medieval movie we got was.
The one that I think is probably the most recent is either The Green Knight or The Last Duel.
Oh yeah. Wow. How quickly I forget about both of those movies.
Northman, I think, probably counts too, and that's only like a couple of years old.
Uh, yeah, I guess the Northman would count.
It's not quite as like it takes place in a very different part of the world than like Braveheart and this King
Yeah.
Arthur movie do, but it's like the
They
same
share a
time
lot of
period.
they share a lot of similarities though.
Right. Like I would say like Viking movies are like a subsection of the medieval
Of
movie.
medieval. Yeah, yeah. No, no, I absolutely would count it as well. All
It's
right, so more
obviously
more than
not as good as The Northman. The Northman's
yeah,
like a way better movie than this movie.
definitely definitely more than I thought post COVID. So good to see.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start here with a movie that I know for a fact you saw in theaters. At least I'm pretty sure you did.
Okay.
That we are gonna be doing, but I want to know right now whether you take this or that.
Okay.
Do you take 2004 Clive Owen vehicle, King Arthur, or do you take Kingdom of Heaven?
Are we doing director's cuts of both of these movies?
Sure, let's go with that.
I Kingdom of Heaven, absolutely. The director's cut of Kingdom of Heaven is like a stellar movie.
I need to see the director's cut. I think I've only ever seen the theatrical cut of Kingdom of Heaven. Not good. I would take King Arthur.
Interesting. I
Yeah, I
don't
did not
think
like that.
I've only ever seen the theatrical version of Kingdom of Heaven when we saw it in theaters. As soon as they put out the director's cut, and me and Ryan watched that and realized how good that was, it was the only version I was ever going to watch. But obviously, when we do that episode, I'm going to watch the theatrical version, and we'll see how that one stands in comparison.
It is not good, is what I would say. let's go through a few King Arthur ones here before we get back into the more
Yeah,
generic
you could do
medieval.
a whole subset of just King Arthur adaptations.
Yeah. So are you gonna take
Do my favorite one. I know you're.
King Arthur or 1995's
Ooh, no.
First Night?
Oh, that is not where I thought. We watched that together, didn't we?
I think we did, yeah.
Yes, yes, we did. We watched that. First Night. I like that. I very much enjoyed that movie.
Yeah, I'll take First Night as well.
Fucking Richard Gere as King Arthur.
No, Richard Gere plays Lancelot, dude.
Oh, did he?
I'm pretty sure Sean Connery plays King Arthur.
My God, it's been so long since we watched that already.
Yeah, I know Richard Gere is definitely Lancelot. Are you gonna
Amazing.
take 2004's Clive Owen vehicle, King Arthur,
Okay.
or are you gonna take billion-dollar director
Oh, here
2017
we go. Give it to
King
me.
Arthur Legend of the Sword, Guy
Oh yeah.
Ritchie's
Dude,
magnum opus?
absolutely. Guy Ritchie's King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, all
Easily,
day, bro. All
easily.
day.
That movie is so good.
When he turns King Arthur into just kind of like a Cockney Guy Ritchie Brit, like great,
Yeah,
like
turns
amazing.
out King Arthur just grew up in a whorehouse.
Amazing. Dude, I love every second of that movie. It is so silly and exactly like the type of like just turn your brain off movie that I love.
Yeah, it's a movie that when I saw it in theaters, I hated it, and then every time I saw it on TV, I would put it on, like no joke, like every time for like years.
Jude Law in that movie, just absolutely amazing.
It's like really become one of my favorite movies. Like I probably have seen it 10 plus times. I never can have enough of it.
We didn't realize
Uh,
how good we had it when we saw that in theaters at first and hated it.
Yeah, yeah, it's like tremendous. I think there was one night I watched it like twice in one night, like because it was replaying on a certain movie channel like over and over again, and I watched it once with my brother and then was doing something else, and I came back and I'm like, it's still on here. Oh yeah, I'm watching this
It's like,
again,
yep, ride it out, baby. Let's go.
just like right now. So yeah, King Arthur: Legend of the Sword, easy. Are you
Easy.
gonna take King
Okay.
Arthur or the kid who would be king?
Oh, dude, Rebecca Ferguson vehicle right there.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That sounds right.
Kid who would be king. That movie is a good kids movie.
I think
Delightful.
you're kind of insane. I would take King
You're
Arthur over the
crazy.
kid who would
Oh,
be
you're
king.
crazy. Kid who would be king. Delightful.
I don't know. Have you ever seen 1981's Excalibur?
No, I have not.
No, me neither.
I did
All
not.
right, so I'm out of King Arthur things, I think. I come across any
Well, how
other
about,
ones,
all
I'll
right,
let you
Jim, let me ask you this. King
know.
Arthur or the first 10 minutes of that one Transformers movie where they fight with King Arthur?
Oh, that's a pretty good one. Transformers: The Last Night.
Yep.
I think that just counts
Where
as a King Arthur movie,
where
actually.
Stanley Tucci, where the Tooch plays Merlin.
Yeah, absolutely. Just the first 10 minutes?
That's the only part of it that they do
Well, I
battle
mean,
with
really, the
King
whole
Arthur.
movie is about King
All right,
Arthur.
all right, all right.
I would take King Arthur, Clive Owen.
Oh, all right, there we go.
The first 10 minutes of Transformers: The Last Night are not good.
No, no, I would, yeah. None of the minutes of that movie are good.
All right, so let's just do all the Robin Hood movies in one go here.
Let's
Do you
go.
take any of the Robin Hood movies over this King Arthur movie?
Um, uh, I know a lot of people don't like it, but I really like the Kevin Costner Robin Hood movie.
I do as well. I think it's
Like,
pretty good.
I really like Prince of Thieves.
Yeah.
When he does like the insane vault like over the castle walls, like I'm like, this is the best movie ever. It's so absurd. Fantastic Alan Rickman performance.
Yeah, of course. The real question though is
Yeah,
forget about the Kevin
do we
Costner
take
one.
the 2018 Robin Hood is the real
Right,
question.
right. The one with Jamie Foxx and how do you say that guy's name?
Taron Egerton, I think.
Darren. Sure, yeah.
Sure, yeah, we'll go with that. Ooh, I
All
don't
right, what
hate
about
20. I don't hate 2018's Robin Hood, but I
What
don't
about just the
know.
first 15 minutes of that movie when they're going through the city like they're like in Iraq, like with the bow and
They
arrows
got the
pointed
bow and
like they're machine
arrows.
guns.
Yeah, acting like it's just, oh my God, man. Those, yeah, they're doing
They
like close quarter
get
combat
they
with bow
get
and
caught in
arrow.
an ambush and guys like literally have like a Gatling like crossbow that they're shooting at him. That movie is amazing.
Yeah, you're right. That movie is so good. That movie's so good.
They're like, what if
So
we just made a
dumb.
Robin Hood movie and we just pretended like it was the 2000s and like
Yeah.
it's not medieval times?
They're like, what? Like, yeah, Robin Hood's signature is he's got a bow and arrow, right? So what if we just made like everyone had a bow and arrow and we just made it like absolute warfare? It's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
like
absolutely.
it's like a Call of Duty lobby out there, but just with bows and arrows.
Yeah, yeah, that movie. Great.
So we're right. We're taking both Robin Hood
Yeah, I'm
movies.
taking both. Yeah, I'm taking both of those Robin Hoods.
But
I
what
can't
about
lie.
there is but a third Robin Hood movie.
Oh, all right. Let's hear it. Which one?
The
You
one
said
with
Men
Russell
in Tights?
Crowe.
Oh, no, that one's awful. That one's
Yeah.
that one's brutal.
How could you forget about the Russell Crowe Ridley Scott version of Robin Hood, dude?
Well, we're gonna be doing that one because we saw that one in theaters.
Oh,
Slept
nice. That's coming up.
I slept through that one actually. I remember I passed out in the theater when we saw that.
Yeah, agreed.
That one, not great.
I not good. That's interesting that you totally fell asleep during it. I'm kind of running. There's like a
That
lot here, so
that
I'm just gonna ask you one
okay.
more classic one.
All right, let's hear
Are you gonna take King Arthur, 2004's King Arthur, or Dragonheart?
it. It's the Dennis Quaid one, right?
Yeah,
Absurd. King Arthur.
yeah, King Arthur for sure.
King Arthur. That movie is way too fucking silly.
This 2022. Do you know Medieval? Looks like
No,
it's like a Hulu movie.
never even heard of that.
Ah,
Sounds
damn.
horrible though.
And then I'm assuming you're taking The Last Duel and The Green Knight over this, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, shame that those movies did not really find a life in the theatrical window because both absolutely great movies.
Yeah, I've never seen either of them. I should check them out,
Oh yeah, no,
but
you should definitely check
I'm
them
gonna
out.
take them over King Arthur just on principle.
There you go. Yeah, definitely over King Arthur, both those movies. Now, do they get to the height of Robin Hood or King Arthur Legend of the Sword? That's debatable, but
Debatable, yeah. It seems like a pretty tough ask.
tall order, not many movies can do what Robin Hood 2018 did.
Yeah, and I think that's basically it. I'm looking through. There's like a lot here, but I don't think we're gonna get into any Nicolas Cage movies for this one. Like
And
Season of the Witch isn't quite the same thing.
yeah, no, it's not really in the same vein. Yeah,
It's
no,
not
I think
gonna
that's
have a. I guess the only other one would be Braveheart, but obviously you're taking Braveheart, right?
no, I would definitely take Braveheart, historical inaccuracies and all, and that
Yeah, easily.
easily, easy win right there.
So I
So yeah,
guess that leaves us with just one question here.
okay.
What did Ebert think of this? I have a feeling Ebert did not like.
Well, I'm gonna wait and I'm gonna let you make your guess based on what drop you play.
Man, I really hate to have to do it to him.
This is the most unpleasant movie to look at that I can remember.
Gene, I sat there appalled.
They put almost nothing on the screen.
And Jim, Roger Ebert is turning over in his grave because you have learned nothing from him.
Oh my God, Ebert loved it. What did he say?
Eames gave this movie 3 out of 4 stars. The movie works because of the considerable production qualities and the charisma of the actors. There is a kind of direct, unadorned conviction to the acting of Clive Owen and the others. They don't seem out of time and place like the cast of Troy. Wow, damn, bro.
Yeah, cut to Troy being like, what the hell did I do?
Troy catching strays over there. So yeah, Jim, once again, Ebert not really in a line with
The charisma of the actors, man,
yeah.
oh man, I don't
We
know
must
about that, Ebert.
not have been watching the same movie. He's talking about the charisma of Clive Owen up on that screen.
Yeah, he was not. There was like a fish out of water in this movie. It was not good. So I disagree with Ebert on that one. Big
Right,
time.
so Jim, then take it away. Let's hear that final thought and final rating.
I'm probably not going to give it as low as most movies where I play that drop, but I felt like that drop was important because this is a movie I used to like, and it really was a bad film. Like, it was not very good. Very silly and over dramatic, but in ways that weren't quite as fun as when it happened in Van Helsing, you know? And ultimately, like, rings pretty hollow for all the reasons we were talking about. So I am going to give this a 2 out of 5.
Oh, Jim, this might be the first time in a minute that our scores are going to align. I'm also going to give this one a two.
Ooh.
I agree with everything you just said. This movie, while has moments in it that I enjoy and think are pretty good, like the production value and the big battle scenes are definitely well staged and choreographed and look great and are entertaining, but there's nothing underneath it that has any form of substance that makes me really emotionally attached to anything. And any of the themes that I love in this movie are just lost in the cliched bubble of summer blockbustering.
Yeah.
So it definitely falls short of what I wanted out of this movie as well. So I'm going for a twofer as well there. So with a two and a two, baby, we get an overall score of four. So we're gonna do some battles with some fours, Jim. And my God, what a collection of fours we have to do battle with.
Can only imagine.
So are you taking King Arthur or are you taking the Rugrats movie?
King Arthur.
Yeah, easy win right there. Are you taking King Arthur or let's fight all the Nickelodeon stars again? Do you take Hey Arnold the movie?
King Arthur.
I also would take King Arthur. And now for all the marbles, for the king of the fours, do you take King Arthur or Shallow Hal?
King Arthur.
I would also take King Arthur. I think that those were some pretty easy battles right there. King Arthur, while earns the four, deserves to sit at the top of the four for at least those movies that we've done so far.
Yeah, I would say we probably went a little high on those three movies.
The Nickelodeon movies definitely for sure. Shallow Hal seems like a four is a solid spot to be
Yeah,
in, but
not bad,
those
not bad
yeah
anyway.
those Nickelodeon movies definitely got some pretty high marks there. So
Yeah,
King Arthur gonna fall at the number 58 spot behind Head of State's 4.5, but ahead of Shallow Hal's four. Sorry, King Arthur. You know we once loved you, but you just didn't. We had to outgrow you.
yeah. This
14
is the
year old
first
us.
one. This goes into the category with like Sin City, where I look back on it and I'm like, wait, that movie's actually bad. Like,
It makes me supremely
when did that
nervous.
happen?
Yeah, it makes me supremely nervous for us to eventually get to shoot 'em up. Another Clive Owen movie that I loved and now have like very worrying thoughts that it's probably crap.
I don't know. I haven't seen Shoot 'Em Up in a while either, but I have a feeling that one holds up better, just because it's like way more tongue in cheek than any of these other movies we just talked about were.
That's what I'm hoping, but I feel like it could at this point it could go either way. But I'm gonna
Plus, it's got Paulie G.
Sure, yeah, good Paulie Giamatti in that bad boy. So I'll remain cautiously optimistic until we get to that movie. Now we're not taking guesses for next week because we already did it. We are going to be doing Anchorman. Uh, so the movie that really kickstarted Will Ferrell into the upper echelon of comedy greats. This one, I don't think I've really watched this one a lot as we've gotten older. This type of comedy, I feel like I don't return to as much as some of the other comedy that I preferred, like from before Anchorman's time.
Yeah,
If that
this
makes
feels like
sense.
a yeah. I mean the 2000 like mid 2000s is kind of like the king of the Anchorman. It's like the time frame for Anchorman style comedies. I do agree that they get that kind of movie gets old after a while because a lot of it is like, isn't that a random thing for me to say? Ha 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 ha. You know, like where eventually it's not so random because I've seen the movie a bunch of times. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, that like
It's not
just
quite as
riffing.
clever as some of the other comedies we've done, which it's still really funny, but I could see where it has like less rewatch value.
Yeah. And it kind of just gets like those diminishing returns after a while. So it will be interesting to go back and watch this again. and seeing how it holds up in this day and age for me. Do you have anything to leave the people with? What was the last thing you jammed on?
I'm still on my journey through Law and Order.
Man, you were powering through that.
We've
What
made it
what
up to
season are
season
we in?
5. We're in season 5. Jack McCoy has officially shown up, so things are
Okay.
starting to get real.
I mean, these names mean nothing to me. So when you say it like they show, I'm like, I have no idea who that is.
So Jack McCoy, I think the guy's name is Sam Waterson.
Okay, I know who that is.
He's in that show Grace and Frankie also.
Okay.
But he is Jack McCoy in Law and Order. And this is when Law and Order really starts to hit its stride because like Law and Order deep down is always about like a kind of controversial topic every episode and they try and like paint both viewpoints. When Jack McCoy shows up, that's when the show really becomes about like they paint both viewpoints and then Jack McCoy says, "Yeah, but none of that matters cuz I got to get justice." like somebody's dead and I'm putting somebody in jail for it. Like that's like
Jesus.
that's what every episode of Law and Order turns into. Where he's just like, listen, we could debate this all day, but somebody's got to pay. Like, it's
Someone
amazing.
someone's going downtown.
Yeah, to the point where like he loses touch with reality. Like he starts charging people for things that make absolutely no sense. Like he's always playing like fast and loose with like what's allowed or not.
It's a loose
But
cannon.
it's what makes the show interesting because Jack McCoy is driven only by justice. Like it's so fun to watch.
Dude just walking around like he's Judge Dredd.
Literally, yes, yeah. He's like,
Dead or
listen, I
alive.
think that person's responsible, so I'll charge him with whatever the fuck I can think of. Like,
They're coming with me. Amazing.
yeah. So yeah, I'm still on my Law and Order journey. What about you?
That's nice. I just watched a movie, an Al Pacino movie, older Al Pacino movie called Sea of Love.
Oh,
I don't know if you've ever heard of this movie or not.
I've heard of
Um,
it. I don't think I've seen it.
yeah, absolutely just fantastic police thriller. He's a cop who there's a serial killer on the loose, killing dudes. And it's single dudes that are leaving ads in like the single section of the paper trying to meet
Yeah,
people. And the way that like they connect that it's a serial killer is that every dude in the want ad, it's like they put like a nursery rhyme in there. So like that's how like they're finding out that it's like the same person like killing these people that are putting like nursery rhymes like as their like profile ad. So
bro.
he goes undercover, puts his own ad in the paper, and starts meeting women to try and find which woman is killing these dudes. And
That sounds pretty amazing.
he ends up falling for one of the girls who's like a little wild. And as he starts falling more and more into her, he starts to realize, oh shit, I think this is the
It's
girl that's killing everybody.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And it's really good. It's really good.
It sounds amazing.
Yeah, I loved it. Has one of like the funniest opening scenes I think I've ever seen in a movie. Not the opening scene, because like obviously the movie opens with like the first murder, but our introduction to Al Pacino is like one of the greatest introductions I've ever seen in a movie. So it's it's just showing it opens up on like just this random town hall that has a banner up where it's like meet the Yankees today, invitation only. So it's a bunch of people walking up and like showing their invitations and being let in because they're going to meet the Yankees, and it's a whole bunch of people in there having a good time and everything. And then Al Pacino like walks out, like thanks everyone for coming. He's like, yeah, it's gonna be a good time. We're gonna meet the Yankees. We're gonna go to the game. He's like, I got good news or bad news. Like, which one you want first? And he's like, oh, the bad news is like the Yankees aren't coming. Like all you guys have like 57 warrants for arrest. So like it was just a sting operation to get them all there. And then they
That
just
is
arrest
so
all of
silly.
them. It's so silly. But like when it happens, like when like that reveal pops, I'm like, this movie's I was like, I'm already in. I was like, I'm so fucking in on wherever this movie takes me.
Yeah, yeah. It is a pretty good. That is a pretty banger way to start.
Yeah, it's a really good like late 80s movie from Al Pacino. So definitely check that one out if you've never seen it out there, people. It's a classic. They just don't make them like that anymore.
Yeah, I've never seen it. It's definitely going on the list though.
Yeah, I never heard of it, and then I just came across it and like read the synopsis and was like, oh yeah, that one's going on. Let's watch that. Like that seems pretty fucking good, and it held up. It was really good. John Goodman's in it also.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was a classic out there. But that's it for us, everybody. Make sure you go out there, check out all these movies, form your own opinions for yourself, and make sure you tune in with us next week when we dive into the comedy classic that is Anchorman. And as always, we'll see you at the movies.